Welcome to Toastmasters District 73 Candidate Showcase 2026. A warm welcome to our candidates for roles on the District Executive for the 2026-27 year. Welcome also to the members of Toastmaster clubs who are watching this candidate showcase. My name is Marlene Sinclair. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster and a past District Director of District 73. It's my pleasure to chair today's candidate showcase for 2026. So, why is this important? On Saturday, 16th of May at 3:30 p.m, presidents and VPEs for their proxies from every Toastmasters club in South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania will vote at the District 73 Council meeting. At the District Council meeting, the district leaders who are going to represent your club in the coming year will be elected. In order to assist club members to discuss with their representatives who they should vote for, the candidates for District Director, Program Quality Director, Club Growth Director and Division Director roles will be interviewed during this candidate showcase. So what are the guidelines for this candidate showcase? After each candidate is introduced, candidates for each role will be asked questions appropriate to their role, and where there is more than one candidate for a role, they'll be asked the same set of questions. The order for the interview is, firstly, endorsed candidate for District Director, then endorsed candidate and floor candidate for the Program Quality Director in alphabetical order of their surname, then endorsed candidates for Club Growth Director in alphabetical order of their surname, and endorsed candidates for Division Director. All candidates will be moved to a waiting room except the first speaker and will be invited back into the meeting room prior to their interview. Janine One will be the timer for the showcase, and our co-chair, Charlie Starrett, DTM, PID, will interview the candidates. The timing for each interview will be announced when the candidate is in the room, ready to speak prior to their introduction. After each speaker is introduced, they'll be asked their first question and will continue to receive questions after their responses. As soon as possible after the green light appears, the candidate will be asked if they'd like to take another question or provide a final statement. As soon as possible after the yellow light appears, the candidate will, if they're not already commenced this, be asked to present their final statement. Each candidate will have 30 seconds grace once the red light appears, after which they must stop speaking. It's now my pleasure to introduce distinguished Toastmaster Charlie Starrett, who is the co-chair of tonight's candidate showcase and who will now interview our candidates. Charlie is a past district director and a past international director who has served on the Toastmasters International Board of Directors. Please welcome Charlie Starrett.
Thank you very much, Marlene, for that introduction. My role tonight is to interview each of the candidates. I'll be asking them several questions. I'll let them know what their time limits are, and then we'll be moving them out of the room and inviting the next candidate in. So we're starting tonight, our showcase tonight, with the role of District Director. There is one endorsed candidate for the office of District Director, and that is Vijay Shah, DTN. Vijay, you will have 4 minutes to address the meeting. That will commence from the time of your first word or gesture to the audience after I have asked the question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30, and a red light at 4 minutes. And you will no longer be allowed to speak after 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Welcome, Vijay.
Thank you.
What do you think should be the key areas of the District 73 strategic plan?
Key areas of the District 73 strategic plan. The one on top of my mind comes up is immediately adding more value to the members. So that's my first thing coming into my mind. The second one is we're all giving the volunteer leaders, the club officers, division, area, every level, we're all giving our volunteer time. So um, my focus, the second focus would be to make the administrative task easier so that they can better focus or spend more time on adding more value to the members. Again, it also goes back to the members. The first one is adding more value to the members. Second is making the administrative task much easier. And third one is the fiduciary duty. Every single dollar of the district money that's being spent, that needs to be spent for the growth of the district and adding more value to the members. Those three are my key strategic area that I would be focusing on as a district director. Thank you.
Thank you. Vijay, can you provide an example of a team that you've led in which you achieved success?
There are many teams outside Toastmasters and inside Toastmaster. Inside Toastmaster, mostly we achieve success. There's no failed team I have come across within Toastmasters, but one team I have particularly I would say is when I was a division director, there was a challenge of finding area directors. During that time, the rest of the other area directors, they stepped in, they spent their time and effort to run the rest of the areas, even though we didn't have area directors in other areas. So there was a most success. It's kind of a very collaborative, helping other people to succeed. That I would say is one of the key criteria for being a successful team. It's not only your own success, but making other people around you to become successful. So I would say that term, me being the division director and having those area directors, was one of the successful teams I led. Yeah.
Thank you. What innovative approaches will you bring to this role?
Yes. So when I hear this question, Toastmasters is there for more than 100 years now. The basics, the basics of Toastmaster, as long as we follow the basics of Toastmaster, adding value to the members and making people aware of the Toastmaster values, that's the basics. And how I can introduce innovativeness in this. So these days we can make use of digital tools, and AI is coming up to take this value, to spread this information in our community. That's the one thing I'm more interested in, since I've worked in the technology for many years. It's one of my favorite areas as well, to use these medium tools to spread the message. Yeah.
Would you like to take another question or provide your closing statement?
I would like to provide a closing statement.
Good.
When I took over as in the CGD role a couple of years ago, I mentioned I have a three humble vision for my personal vision for Toastmasters. Now, what I can see is, so this just over the last weekend, I celebrated my 15th anniversary in Toastmasters, and as I can still feel that vision is still fresh in my mind, even though it started before I took over CGD role and I announced when I became a CGD role. The three visions are: one is every member should feel inspired to embark on their journey when they come to the club meetings, every member. Then every club should be a vibrant hub of learning. And club growth is not just a goal, it's a culture, should be a culture for the district. That's my vision.
Okay. Vijay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, there are two candidates for the office of Program Quality Director. Endorsed candidate Brett Kenny and floor candidate Peter Copland. The candidates are being showcased in alphabetical order by surname. The first candidate to speak is Peter Copland. Peter, you will have 6 minutes to address the meeting, and your time will begin with your first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked your first question. The timer will show a green light at 4 minutes, a yellow light at 5 minutes, and a red light at 6 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Peter, what do you think should be the key areas of focus in your role as Programme Quality Director?
Mr. Chairman, that is a very good question. It is to make the District 73 the best it can be, because we have various programs and they must be kept up to date. The standards through must be consistent all the way through the district, because we are 3 states: South Australia, Victoria, and Tasmania. Obviously, what these standards will be, they have to be in accordance with TMIs over in the USA. Saying that, it's also got to be flexible, because there are going to be new challenges that have come up throughout the year and further years, and it's got to be flexible enough to say, okay, these are the standards we have now, but with these new circumstances, what standards do we need? What procedures do we need to handle these situations? So in conclusion, try and keep the standards to the best they can be. Allow for variations that have to be sometimes, but do a preliminary work before you introduce these changes. And above all, of course, make that as being part of the team that implements these ideas throughout, because in the end, it's teamwork that makes the district the best it can be.
Thank you. What do you think should be the key areas of focus for district officer training?
That's a good question. There's 3 roles. One is you have to take care of your brand new members and those that have experience. And with the ones that have experience, you can have them show the others what to do, because that's the reason why we have 2 cots. Because one is when the people have just come into the brand new role, they have to be introduced to these roles. That's where the more experienced members come in. They can show the brand new members, what can come in, what they need to do to fulfill their position. Then, of course, at your second cot, that is when you revise and say, okay, what have you learned? What are the difficulties? What is going to come up in the years that follow? The other thing, of course, is there's got to be a spread of ideas around the cot, because we are many divisions. Each has people who have got expertise in many areas. So the cot should include networking option. So the ideas that are good in one state or one division, one club, can be shared to all other officers, because in the end, we're doing this because we are serving the members, because that's what we're doing this for. Is the club officer training should be, in the end, targeted to doing the things that help the clubs get the most out, and obviously the district.
Okay. What will you do to engage more of our members in the Pathways education program?
What I'll do to that is 2 things. One is to say experiment, because we've got 3 new path options coming up. One is your vintage path. The other one is your Ralph Smedley path, and there's a no one third coming. But how are the club members going to know about these things? What what we've got to do is we've got to do tutorials. We've got to do workshops that, in fact, introduce these things. And of course, we've got to encourage. So if someone's having difficulty with doing a speech, don't say, well, simply get in there and help them do that, because there are other bits that it's like recording what you've done. That is not necessarily something that most people are going to do, but since we've had training that we can help other people, in fact, do that. So I would, in conclusion, I would have the club officers go around to the various clubs, do these tutorials, but make themselves available for questions, and of course help out those that seek help, because that is what we're here for. We are here to help the members get the maximum out of the Toastmaster.
Would you please make your final statement?
I've been a Toastmaster since 2005, so I've been around. I've held many positions. I've actually been the area director of a couple of areas here in South Australia, but I've also.
Thank you, Peter. Would the Zoom master please admit Brett Kenny to the meeting room? Welcome, Brett.
Evening, all.
Brett, you'll have 6 minutes to address the meeting, and your time will begin from the first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked the first question. Your timer will show a green light at 4 minutes, a yellow light at 5 minutes, and a red light at 6 minutes. And you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Brett, what do you think should be the key area of focus in your role as Program Quality Director?
Well, if I can change the question somewhat and make it 3 areas, because I find it hard to divide between the equal importance of all 3. The first is the quality of training and education provided. When I first entered the accountancy profession, our 2 professional bodies at that point imposed on us continuing professional education, which was mandatory. We had to do at least 30 hours a year. And I originally thought, oh, well, we'll do it as cheaply and as quickly and as conveniently as we can. But after a while, we all came to the realization that if you're going to dumb down education, firstly, no one's going to benefit from it. And secondly, no one's going to enjoy it. So we took a 180-degree view and said, okay, well, if we have this mandatory education enforced on us, let's make it as enjoyable and as profitable and as high level as possible. And we found the buy-in from staff and others in the profession increased exponentially once the quality of the education improved. The second aspect of the role, of course, is the contests. And I've competed in the contests almost since day one in 2018. And again, if a contest is well run, there's always going to be subjectivity. There's always going to be people disappointed. But it's a lot easier to run a contest and say, okay, well, that's just a result of the subjectivity of the judges than it is to say, look, that contest was a shambles. So I want to make sure that we continue the high level of contests we've had. And the third thing, of course, is the conference. At the 2025 conference, I headed up the finance arm, and I was well acquainted with how that worked and the different components, and I passed that on to the treasurer this year. Secondly, in my professional life, I was involved with an organisation that ran an annual conference, and that annual conference basically bankrolled the organisation for the rest of the year. We would get 1,500 people there and probably another 400 sponsors. So I'm acutely aware of what can go wrong with conferences, both at our level and the higher level. And I think those three facets together I regard as the important parts of the role.
Thank you. Brett, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for district officer training?
Firstly, I think leadership, because that will control everything else. If we're poor leaders, it won't matter how good our technical knowledge is. I think we need to be able to make sure that we lead, and that involves a number of aspects, most of which is the prompt and organised delivery of the training materials. Now, I've already had a sneak preview of this year's or the coming COT training materials for COT. For district officer, though, I think it probably goes a little bit further than just a hands-on. It must cover areas such as dispute resolution, it must cover incentivising, it must cover the ability to have a broad role, to pick where there's weaknesses, to pick where there's problems, and also to pick where there's strength, and communicate that down the line to the division directors, area directors. I think it's an overview, making sure that you're across all various areas of the organisation.
Okay, thank you. And what will you do to engage more of our members in the Pathways education program?
Yeah, with Pathways, I think you will always find that if you have a club where the VPE is across Pathways and explaining it properly and demonstrating and putting some time into it, not just leaving it as a reserve, you'll find the whole club uptake of Pathways is better. Where the VPE is not strong across Pathways, or there's a resistance, and we've all seen clubs where there's been someone who hasn't exactly endorsed Pathways and there's been a negative impact, it falls away. So I would have a strong focus on making sure the VPEs know how it works and have the ability to deliver it. I also think there's nothing like hands-on. One of the things we did early on in my time at Belgrave Toastmasters, we ran little sessions for 15 minutes before the meeting started, at which point we would say, bring your laptops and we will show you. It's nothing like people understanding how it works using their own machinery.
Would you like to take another question, Brett, or provide your final statement?
I'll take one more question, if that's all right, Charles.
Okay. What would be the measure of your success in the role of Program Quality Director?
If I could give an esoteric answer, it would be us having to turn people away from district officer and club officer training. I would say, you can't come, we've got too many there, and have 100%. Now, that's what we call a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, and not likely to occur. What I do want is not to hear anyone say, oh, God, not another COT. I really want to hear them say, yes, I look forward to it because I learn a lot. That would be my measure of success.
All right. Would you please make your final statement?
I think, as I said at the start, my professional career forced me into continuing professional education on the back of a university degree. I have learnt and I understand that if we don't make the training of a high level and enjoyable, we will fail. I believe it's the same with the contest, that when a contestant enters, they have to know that if they give it their best shot, they are a fair shot. We don't want shambles. We don't want mistakes. We don't want disorganisation. We want a high level of judges. And in terms of the conference, my planning for the conference will begin on the 17th of May if I'm elected. I don't want to wait any longer. I want to start the planning that day, or perhaps the next. I might have one day off, but it's got to start then, and we've got to start engaging members, making sure that the District 73 conference for 2027 is the best ever.
Thank you very much, Brett. The next role to be showcased is that of Club Growth Director. There are two endorsed candidates for the office of Club Growth Director, Mark Reynolds and Alexandra Stamate. They will have 6 minutes each to address the meeting, and the candidates are being showcased in alphabetical order by surname.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Mark, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I have asked the first question.
Certainly.
The timer will show a green light at 4 minutes, a yellow light at 5 minutes, and a red light at 6 minutes. And you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Mark, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Club Growth Director?
Club growth has been difficult for 7 years now. I think the key focus needs to be on working with clubs that are struggling, identifying what the problems are, and working with those clubs specifically to target the specific problems, which might be different for different clubs. So that would be my focus, to work directly with the clubs and find solutions for them.
Okay. What do you see as being the key steps for starting a new corporate club?
The key step, of course, is to find out the immediate people that can help. First of all, find out where the interest is, find out people that are in those areas that are able to work as a team. The key is always on a team working together in a unified manner to bring solutions. Every new club is going to be different. It's going to have different rationales for beginning. It's going to have different needs. Working closely with the stakeholders is always what's important, and working closely with those that can deliver is even more important.
Thank you. Mark, how would you address low member clubs?
Well, low member clubs are a problem worldwide, not just in District 73. Half of the clubs in the world qualify for a club coach. So it is a big problem to be addressed. How would I address it? First of all, I'm dedicated to looking at statistics, and I'm dedicated to not just looking at numbers for numbers' sake, but to create analysis tools to work out how to target where efforts can be best met. Again, every situation is unique. It's important to look at where the picture is. What is lacking? Is it in the membership? Does the membership need a little nudge? Does it need a big nudge? Is it on the education program? Is it to do with finishing the marking of the qualifications? All of these little things all need a different approach. I'm heavily focused on finding where the problems lie and addressing those problems where they lie.
Thank you. What would be the measure of your success in the role of Club Growth Director?
Relationships, number one. Keeping up good relationships with individuals, with the new club starting up, with the officers in the club, and with the people that can help. Yes, ultimately, we look at the measures of success in the district club program, and that is important. What we can do is to use the DCP to try and identify where the failings are and target specifically towards those problems.
Okay. Would you please make your final statement?
Certainly. Club growth and membership numbers have become real challenges over the last 7 years, and solutions must be people-focused. Numbers matter, but people matter more. Clubs grow when members feel supported, when officers feel confident, and when they feel connected to something bigger than themselves. I can't build new clubs or strengthen existing ones on my own. None of us can. It takes dedicated volunteers who care about their clubs and their fellow members. What I can do is support those volunteers through encouragement relationships, and practical tools that make their work easier rather than harder. Importantly, through information and individually tailored recommendations and resources that respect the fact that every club is different and deserves solutions that fit their situation. My focus is on bringing clarity through systems and tools that reduce confusion and help clubs without adding to anyone's workload. Dedicated people are always the key to growth, and my commitment as Club Growth Director will be to support them personally, champion their efforts, and make sure that they have what they need to succeed.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
The second candidate to speak is Alexandra Stamate. And Alex, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked the first question. The timer will show a green light at 4 minutes, a yellow light at 5 minutes, a red light at 6 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Alex, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Club Growth Director?
Thank you, DLC Chair. I think the area of focus sometimes is a area of improvement, not necessarily an area of growth, although we are talking about Club Growth Director role. So recently I've been thinking about my own strategy towards the role, and I think a big area of focus would be clubs that are struggling. And the reason why I say that is because I recently saw an email from our district director where it says that out of 109 paid clubs, only 27% or 28% have reached distinguished medley and president distinguished, which means there is a big opportunity into nurturing those clubs that we have, and we're not supporting enough perhaps for them to just pass the threshold and move into a distinguished status. And of course, after that, just going outside and seeing how else we can grow our district.
Okay. What do you see as being the key steps for starting a new corporate club?
Oh, the key steps. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. First and foremost, of course, a lot of marketing because, as many of us know, Toastmasters is not something very popular. It's only popular to us. However, I think marketing is one of the main key points to do. Marketing, open houses, and then as soon as we get any sort of engagement from corporate clubs, to really assess the need of a corporate club. And me coming from also corporate, but training and development, I think that's the main part that we need to understand from the get-go, because there is a lot of excitement to start the club, and that's also what leads to clubs being suspended maybe 1 or 1.5 years down the road. So for me, like I said, marketing, looking at how to enter that group and the corporate world, and then second, understanding the needs in a way that we can support them to be sustainable long term.
Okay. Alex, how will you address low member clubs?
This question hits home because I come from what used to be a low member club. Actually, my club, when I joined it, it was so low member that we barely made it. We were probably on the verge of being suspended. And now, proudly and also humbly saying that we are Smedley distinguished. I think the best thing to do is first to identify how their group of officers is working together, and also building the training for them to do better and to attract members. Marketing, like I said, is a big part of it, but really building a culture for people to feel welcome and to have something to take home. So building onto the skills of evaluations. A lot of people come in Toastmasters for evaluations, but also making the club visible. And with time, building into their officers in a way that the officers can train the trainer until the club becomes sustainable and hopefully distinguished, president distinguished, and why not Smedley?
Thank you. What would be the measure of your success in the role of club growth director?
I don't think it's very easy to say this because a measure of success is usually a metric, right? But at the moment, perhaps something that I look at is a metric of not losing any club. So making sure that the clubs that I start with are still there, and also building new clubs. And building new clubs, I'm not thinking of it as necessarily going out and building something new, but also maybe clubs that are doing very well, they can then have a branch of another club. So really sustainably growing together.
Would you please make your final statement?
Sure, thank you. As I look ahead at the new Toastmasters year, my vision is simple but intentional. What I really want to achieve in this year is 3 simple steps. And like I said in most of my answers, I want to look at clubs that are already doing well and to put those clubs in the limelight and understanding from them through education for other clubs what is working so well for them that they are thriving. The second part is for me to look at clubs that are struggling. And when I say that, I really want to be their partner to understand how else we can support them to get more members and to build momentum. And of course, the last part of my vision is to build new clubs, to build new Toastmasters homes for voices that haven't been heard yet, and for leaders that haven't been discovered yet, and to have a space for people to feel as welcomed as I first felt when I joined Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
We will now showcase candidates for division director roles. Each division director will have 4 minutes to address the meeting. Will the Zoom master please admit Nadine Sanwa to the meeting room? Welcome, Nadine.
Good evening.
Good evening. There is one endorsed candidate for the office of Basta Division Director, Nadine Sanwa. Nadine, your time will begin from the first word or gesture to the audience after I have asked the question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, and a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So Nadine, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as division director?
I think the key areas of focus is definitely making sure that the clubs within my division are having beneficial, educational, and great learning experiences in their meetings. And that comes down to making sure that your area directors are doing visits, having a look at how the club are performing. The reason you join Toastmasters is to improve in your public speaking, to gain confidence and to get those skills. And if you're going to a meeting where you're not getting anything from it, then you're not going to stay. So for me, one of the most important things in being a Toastmaster is having a great meeting at the club level. So for me, that's a big area of where my focus will be. And I have all going well. If I am in the role again for the next Toastmaster year, I've got some ideas up my sleeve that I would really like to put into plan to educate the clubs in pathways, using the D73 website, the Toastmaster International website. So lots of different ideas. But for me, the reason that you join is to improve your skills and your confidence. And if you're not getting that from your club meetings, then you're not going to stay.
Thank you. What do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
I'm so sorry, you just sort of dropped out
Okay,
then.
I'll repeat the question.
Could you repeat that
Of course.
question?
What do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
Definitely key areas of focus, obviously, is the club officer roles. I think actually when you're doing the club officer training also, everyone gets to sit in on each other's roles so that they're actually learning all about all the different roles within the club officers and understanding how they function within each club. So I think it's very important that you don't just learn about your own role. I think it's really important that you learn about all the other roles. If you don't understand how the roles work within the club, then your club is not going to understand either. And that's a really, really important thing, understanding as the president how your VPE works, how your treasurer works, how they all intermix with each other. And then I also think club officer training, the next really, really important thing is obviously pathways in the educational process, and then being able to use Toastmasters International to get on there and do your educational pathways. So I think the two main things is obviously learning what the club officers are, learning what pathways is, and I think thirdly, understanding what Toastmasters International is also. We are a very small part, as I have discovered over the last couple of years, that Toastmasters District 73 is one little bit of Toastmasters International. And when you discover the world outside of your club, it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the three things that I feel should be
Nadine.
most educated within the COT training.
Thank you. Would you like to take another question or provide your final statement?
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to provide my final statement.
Of course.
So I just wanted to say, if I'm fortunate enough to do the role for a second year, I'd be very excited to do it again. I've been very lucky this year with the area directors that I've had, and I've actually learned so much. It's been a very big learning curve, and I feel that the second time round will be, not that it will be easier, but I think I'll be able to really enjoy it a lot more and feel like I'm actually getting myself and the division in a better situation than we already are, which actually we're doing really quite well. So I'm very pleased with that. But I'd be very excited to continue on in the role. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine.
Want to achieve in
Good evening, Peter.
Hi.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
There is one endorsed candidate for the office of Central Division Director, and that is Peter Sesko. Peter, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked your first question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Peter, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Division Director?
So first of all, I believe in integrity, because integrity builds everything. And an example of my integrity is that when I was in the Air Force, at 18 and a half years, I got out of the Air Force so that my wife could be the school principal she wanted to be. And I think that's a good example of integrity. It's something that I did. Now, I think we need a solid marketing strategy, and that needs to be based around more online clubs. My club at Aldinga has a deputy mayor of Warren, I think it is. She comes in every meeting, and she has just grown so much in her time there. And I think that's a good example of how we should do things. I think the area directors are a key area, a key direction on all of these things, both in the division success plan and in the membership, because they know their clubs, and there's no doubt about that. They should and do know their clubs, and I believe that they can be the drivers that they need to be, and I would support them in all of their aspects of that. So even division council meetings. Now, we need to have division council meetings, and I would organise that with the area directors and have some sort of rolling program around that, because I think that's the total of where we need to be. I really do, and I think that we need to understand that everything we do is about our members, and every member needs support, regardless of what their club is. Now, we can have disagreements about good clubs and bad clubs and all those sorts of things, but we don't need to disagree with people because of a club they're in. And I think that's a really strong message that I need to give people. So basically, I believe I have integrity, and I would use that to balance the support that I need to give the area directors, and I would check with the club success plan, and I would make that in conjunction with the area directors, because they are just so important to everything. That's my general belief. As I said, every single member needs support, regardless of who their club is. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Would you please make your final statement?
My final statement is that I believe every member needs support, regardless of their club. And I think that's really, really important. And we need to remember that.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
This year is
Good evening, Laura.
Good evening.
Hello, Laura.
Hello.
There is one endorsed candidate for the office of Eastern Division Director, Laura Martin. Laura, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I have asked the first question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be able to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Laura, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Division Director?
I think the two most important areas to focus for with the year ahead is around membership and education. I feel that they're probably the two biggest things, that in order for us to be able to look at education, we need the members first. So first thing that I will be looking at is where the clubs are sitting membership-wise and how we can support that, whether that's through open houses or mail drop, and getting the club coaches in if that's something that the club qualifies for. And then to also really focus on getting pathways up to date with members, making sure that they're understanding how to use pathways and Basecamp, and then just making sure that the club is supporting them in order to really get them to fulfill their education goals.
Thank you. What do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
I think, again, it comes back to education. I know this was something that I got a lot of feedback on from the round 2 club officer training. And especially with some of the changes with the new paths that are coming in, I think it'd be really important to make sure that the club officers themselves are understanding what it is that is on offer for members, so that then when members are asking them, then they've got the confidence to go into it with that knowledge.
Provide an example of a team that you've led in which you have achieved success.
I think the year that I did Vice President of Education twice, followed by President at my home club a few years ago. And both years we were able to achieve President's Distinguished Club. And I think that was important because we worked together as a team. It wasn't just me doing it. It was the whole team discussing it at executive meetings and then following through between meetings and making sure that members were getting the opportunities that they needed to be able to fulfill those goals, and in order for us to be able to fulfill all the other goals that weren't education.
Thank you. Would you please make your final statement?
Thank you, Charlie. It's been an honour to serve District 73 this year as the Eastern Division Director, and I'm looking forward to being able to do it again with a new team of area directors, and some already in their roles and some new division directors under the guidance of a new PQD and trio. I think that I've definitely learned a lot this year in my role, and things that have really pushed me out of my comfort zone, but also things that are just your basics in Toastmasters. And I'm looking forward to being able to work alongside clubs and the rest of the district to achieve greatness in Toastmasters and for our members.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, everyone.
There is one endorsed candidate for the office of Metro Division Director, Charlotte Lloyd. Charlotte, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I have asked the first question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. Charlotte, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Division Director?
Thank you very much, Charlie. The key areas of focus for Division Director that I am hoping to emulate and support the Toastmasters community is definitely communication and support. And that can come in many varied facets of options, because we don't all communicate in the same format and we don't all hear communication in the same format. So being the person that can either be on the other end of the phone when a fellow area director or peer has a problem, right through to understanding areas of issues and resource finding, bringing together the community of the Toastmasters, of the area directors and fellow Toastmasters in their respective areas, having them understand what they need to do and supporting them along that way. I believe that you can have many different personnel, I guess for want of a better word, come into Toastmasters, and you can have the people that have been there for a long time and they need to be either re-engaged or supported so that they feel like they're still getting value out of Toastmasters, but also the newbies that are hungry and they want to have more information and they want to be able to strive and succeed. So feeding those different people in the means of communication that they want and need. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
That is an excellent question. I definitely think that club office training has a real need, because so many times people come into those roles and they're first time into it and they need to get the information in quick, succinct, easily digestible, and ways that they can follow up afterwards, either being in a written communication of an overview of what was discussed at the club office training, or quick guides that they can refer back to over the year so that they know how to do their job properly. I think in my experience, being able to deliver it at varied times of the day so that we can best accommodate the people that are coming into those roles, but also follow up with easily digestible information so that they keep remembering what their role is 6 and 8 months throughout it, so that we don't get the drop off after they've got their initial excitement of the role.
Okay, thank you. Would you could you provide an example? Oh, sorry, I'll give you another one. What innovative approaches will you bring to this role?
Ooh, nice. Okay, I would like to take a leaf out of another division director's book who also would like to do it along with me, and we would like to create more inclusive WhatsApp chats for our divisions to include not only the area directors but also WhatsApp chats for the presidents and the secretaries and the VP, so that they can easily exchange ideas of what they're doing really well in their club for other clubs to come, and also to be able to have that community so that you feel supported in those roles.
Thank you. Charlotte, would you please make your final statement?
Look, I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I thank the fellow Toastmasters for supporting me in my candidacy.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
There is one endorsed candidate for the role of Northern Division Director, Leah Walker. Leah, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked the first question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be allowed to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Fantastic.
Okay. So Leah, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Division Director?
I feel that my key areas of focus will be, first of all, supporting the area directors, but also ensuring that they're supporting their clubs and helping with club growth. I know the district's mission, or one of their key goals, is to grow membership, even grow clubs. So I'll certainly be supporting the area directors and doing what I can to help the district in that goal. I am already trying to set up a new club and hope to use a lot of the knowledge in my area to help with that as well. And I know there's another prospective club, so doing my very best to make sure that those two clubs in particular get up and running in Northern Division.
Thank you. Laura, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
I think that building on the bath plug analogy that was used this year and stopping, I guess, finding out why people are leaving Toastmasters, if indeed they are, and trying to change that. So I think it starts from a club perspective for encouraging club officers to find out why someone's leaving, what's going on, perhaps reflecting a little bit what they could have done better. And I think in showing that through the club officer training. Also, I think some really key areas around what keeps people engaged as well, really focusing on that engagement and how we are, what the people who stay the longest, why they're staying and what they're still getting out of it, and seeing if we can build on what people are getting out of it, whether it's friendships, social connection, or that personal growth that we initially came to Toastmasters for. So really finding out what's keeping people staying, or why people are leaving, and using that within the club officer training to help the officers stay, keep their members just in their clubs. That's where it all starts, really.
Thank you. Can you provide an example of a team that you've led which has achieved success?
Yeah. I'm hoping that the team I'm leading to get our Shepherd and Marupna club up and going is going to have a lot of success. There's a lot of positivity around that at the moment. There's a group of us who are very keen for it to happen and are very motivated, and I think it's just about checking in with people all the time, that they're going okay, that they're meeting the little goals that they've got set out, that we're all working cohesively and understanding what each other is trying to achieve within that team environment. And it all seems to be going extremely well at the moment. So I feel that when you're leading a team very effectively, you're communicating very openly, and you are also supporting one another, bouncing ideas off each other, and being very transparent as well. That's really what I think are the key things when you're leading a team, is that transparency, that openness, and that honesty as well.
Okay. Would you please make your final statement?
I'm really looking forward to this next 12 months as a Northern Division Director, and I can't wait to meet more people within Northern Division.
Thank you very much, Leah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leah.
There is one endorsed candidate for the role of Rangers Division Director, and that's Stefan Barry. Stefan, your time will begin from your first word or gesture to the audience after I've asked the first question. The timer will show a green light at 3 minutes, a yellow light at 3 minutes 30 seconds, a red light at 4 minutes, and you will no longer be able to speak further at 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. Stefan, what do you think should be the key areas of focus for your role as Division Director?
Well, the key areas of focus for my role would be to concentrate and model any of my actions from the district mission statement, and we all know that's we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. So you'd want to model any of your actions from using that as a basis, and that would reflect in things like putting the members first always, and making sure that the experiences that they have, like just generally in the Toastmasters Club, can get better, and things like improving club quality, club officer training, and to help with all those things. Probably hit you with a few things at once, but I think I'd be able to achieve that using the mission statement as a basis.
Okay, thank you. What do you think should be the key areas of focus for club officer training?
So the key, can you still hear me?
You want me to repeat the question?
Oh, you can still hear me. Cool. The key areas of focus for club officer training.
Yes.
I would be to ensure that that all the officers are trained up initially to be able to get that point for your club for the DCP, and also to ensure that that the people in the different roles get a chance to come together and communicate, to communicate, to come together and communicate, to be able to learn as a group, and to learn from experts that have done the roles before, facilitators, and to follow like a format, in accordance with what's decided by Toastmasters in District 73.
Okay. Would you like to take another question or provide your final statement?
I'll take another one.
Okay. Can you provide an example of a team that you've led in which you have achieved success?
It might be inside Toastmasters or outside.
Up to you. Your choice.
Okay. So a team that I've led in which I've achieved success. So this is going back to my previous the previous iteration of me as Rangers Division Director when I did it the first time, when we did the division contest. And it was quite challenging because it was during the time that people have come out of COVID, and the contest had to be run in hybrid. So it was a monumental task to get everyone working together as a team to understand what it is they really need to do, and to work towards delivering the contest successfully, and that's what I did.
Okay, thank you. Would you please make your final statement?
Oh, yeah. Thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity again for to take on this role, and I promise to do everything in accordance with what Toastmasters in District 73 expect, and to live up to their.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, well, that concludes our candidates showcase, and I hand back to the showcase chair, Marlene Sinclair, DTM.
Thank you, Charlie. And a big thank you to all of our candidates who gave their time to be interviewed for our candidate showcase today. Thank you also to Charlie Starrett, DTM, for your role as co-chair. Thanks also to Graham for your role as Zoom Master. Thanks as well to District Director Janine Wan for your role as timer. Finally, thank you to all the Toastmaster Club members for watching the District 73 Candidate Showcase. And it's hoped that this has helped you to provide you with clarification to all club members who will be voting to elect our District Executive Committee for 2026-27 at the District Council meeting on the 16th of May. We wish you success for your club, both for this year and the year ahead.